CEO walked right past me, like I wasn't even there. I'd prepared for weeks, rehearsed my pitch, worn my best suit. But in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't rejected. I was invisible. And the worst part? I'd made myself that way. If you've ever felt overlooked in important rooms, ignored by people who could change your life, or wondered why opportunities keep passing you by, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to reveal will flip everything you thought you knew about power, presence, and why some people command attention while others fade into the wallpaper. There's a hierarchy in every room you enter. But here's what nobody tells you. The powerful aren't watching everyone. They're watching for specific signals. And most people, they're broadcasting the wrong ones. Screaming, "Ignore me," without saying a word. Drop a comment right now. Tell me about a time you felt invisible in an important moment. Because I guarantee you were doing at least 3 of these habits. See, Machiavelli didn't write for the masses. He wrote for rulers. For those who understood that visibility isn't about being loud. It's about being felt. And when you carry these 13 habits, you don't just get ignored. You become invisible to power, to opportunity, to respect. You become irrelevant. But before I reveal the first habit, let me tell you what happened after that CEO walked past me. Because 3 months later, we were in the same room again. Only this time, the first habit hit me like a punch to the gut when I discovered it. You enter rooms with your energy pointed inward. Watch this carefully next time you're in a meeting. When a powerful person enters, their awareness expands outward. They scan. They assess. They dominate silently. But when someone weak walks in, they collapse. Their shoulders curve. Their eyes search the ground. Their entire being screams one thing: please don't notice me. To the powerful, this person doesn't exist. They're not even worth evaluating. Think about that. You're not being rejected. You're being filtered out before the game even starts. Something strange happens when you understand this. You realize every entrance is a test. Your shoulders should lead. Your eyes should scan deliberately. Your energy should project out, not in. Don't wait to be noticed. Move like you expect to be. But here's where it gets darker. Because the second habit is even more invisible. Comment below if you've ever heard yourself doing this. The second habit is speaking with apology baked into your tone. Not your words, your tone. That rising intonation at the end of sentences. That soft trailing off. The excessive, sorry. Your words might be strong, but your tone is begging for permission. I watched a brilliant engineer present to investors last week. His idea was revolutionary. His data was flawless. But every sentence ended with that questioning lift. Like he was asking, is this okay? Am I allowed to be smart? The investors checked out in 30 seconds. Not because his idea was bad. Because his tone told them he didn't believe in it either. Powerful people have a radar for this. The moment they hear uncertainty in your voice, you're done. Not rejected, deleted. They won't even remember you were there. But wait, this is where most people try to fix it wrong. They think they need to be louder, more aggressive. No, train your tone to be flat, calm, final. Speak in low, slow rhythms. Use fewer words with more weight. Let silence carry your confidence. Subscribe if you're seeing yourself in these habits. Because recognizing them is step 1. Eliminating them, that's where your life changes. The third habit nearly destroyed my career before I caught it. And when I tell you what it is, you'll realize you did it today. Probably multiple times. You laugh too easily, especially when nothing's funny. Here's the test powerful people run without telling you. They'll say something borderline inappropriate. Maybe a subtle dig at you. Maybe a risky joke. Then they wait. Not to see if you're offended. To see if you'll laugh to stay in their good graces. The moment you give that nervous laugh, you're marked. You'll never be seen as an equal again. I learned this the hard way when a venture capitalist made a joke about my background. I laughed. He never took another meeting with me. Later, his assistant told me why. He only invests in people who won't laugh when disrespected. Think about that. Your nervous laughter isn't keeping peace. It's surrendering power. Next time someone tests you, don't laugh. Go silent. Hold the tension. Let them feel your stillness. When they can't read you, they can't control you. But the fourth habit? This one's sneaky because we're taught it's good communication. Have you ever noticed how some people answer a simple question with a documentary? "What do you do?" becomes a 15-minute origin story. This is the fourth habit, over-explaining simple things. Adding backstory nobody asked for. Cushioning your points with disclaimers. Drowning your message in words because deep down, you feel you need to justify your right to speak. Comment if you've caught yourself doing this. Because here's what powerful people think when you over-explain. If he needs this many words, he's not worth listening to. Last month, I watched two people answer the same question at a dinner party. What's your take on AI? First person, 20 minutes of context, caveats, and examples. Second person, it's overhyped short-term, underestimated long-term. Guess who everyone wanted to talk to after? Machiavelli understood this. The more you explain, the more control you hand over. Answer, then stop. Let silence carry the rest. Make them ask if they want more. When you speak less, each word gains weight. When you speak too much, your value dissolves. These first four habits, they're just the surface. The real damage happens with the next ones. Because these aren't random quirks. They're invisible disqualifiers. And once powerful people categorize you as not worth it, you don't get a second chance. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Because what's coming next will show you exactly why you've been overlooked in rooms that could have changed your life. The fifth habit destroyed more careers than lack of talent ever could. And it's happening right now in every office, every meeting, every opportunity. You wait to be included. You sit at the table but don't speak unless spoken to. You hover at the edge of conversations, hoping someone invites you in. You're waiting for permission that will never come. Watch powerful people at any event. They don't wait. They insert themselves. Not rudely, decisively. They understand value doesn't knock. It walks in. I learned this at a conference where I spent 3 days being polite, waiting my turn, being respectful. Then I watched a 22-year-old walk up to a billionaire mid-conversation and say, "I solved the problem you mentioned on stage." The billionaire turned, listened, and hired him on the spot. While I was still waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. Always now. Don't ask if it's your turn. Take it. Add value fast. Then go silent. Let your contribution echo. The ones who hesitate are forgotten. The ones who speak once with weight are remembered. Drop a comment about a moment you wish you'd spoken up. Because the sixth habit is even more painful. The sixth habit is apologizing for your standards. This one cuts deep because it's not about being mean. It's about having boundaries and then softening them the moment someone questions them. Whether it's how you spend your time, what you tolerate, or what you value, you treat your limits like suggestions instead of laws. Last week, a client told me he works until 9 p.m. because his boss expects it. I asked, "What happens if you leave at 6? He said, "I don't know. I've never tried." He's been apologizing for having a life for 3 years, without anyone actually asking him to. Here's what Machiavelli knew. Standards aren't about morality. They're about power calibration. When you apologize for your boundaries, you make them seem arbitrary. When you hold them silently, you make them sacred. Say no without flinching. Decline without backstory. Walk away without explaining. When your standards need no justification, they become law. And law commands respect. Subscribe if this is hitting home. Because the seventh habit is something you probably did today. The seventh habit seems harmless. Noble even. You overuse praise. Great job. That's amazing. Love that. You throw compliments like confetti, thinking it builds connection. But Machiavelli would tell you this. Praise given too freely becomes worthless currency. I watched a networking event where one person complimented everyone. Every idea was brilliant. Every person was incredible. By the end, nobody remembered him. Meanwhile, another attendee gave exactly one compliment all night. Specific, thoughtful, delayed. People talked about it for weeks. When you flood others with flattery, powerful people see desperation. The need to be liked, which means you need them, which means you can be controlled. Withhold praise until it costs something. Make it specific, rare, slightly delayed. When admiration becomes scarce, it becomes valuable. And the powerful pay attention to value. But wait until you hear the eighth habit. Because this one hides in plain sight. The eighth habit is mirroring too much. You match their tone, their energy, their expressions. You think you're building rapport. You're actually disappearing. Because the more you reflect others, the less you exist. Comment below. Have you ever left a conversation feeling like you lost yourself? That's this habit at work. I used to pride myself on being adaptable. I'd match the energy of any room. Corporate? I'd be corporate. Creative? I'd be creative. Until a mentor asked me, "Who are you when nobody's watching?" I couldn't answer. I'd become a mirror with no reflection. Powerful people test for this. They'll shift their energy to see if you follow. The moment you do, they know you'll become whatever they need. And what they need isn't another version of themselves. They need someone solid. Keep your natural tone even if it clashes. Don't match their volume. Let there be friction. Only people with nothing to prove stay solid in the presence of difference. And that solidity creates curiosity. The ninth habit will shock you, because society taught you it's good manners. But it's actually submission in disguise. The ninth habit is always showing gratitude first. Thank you for your time. Thanks for meeting with me. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Sounds polite, right? But listen to what you're really saying. This interaction benefits me more than you. That power imbalance, established in the first 10 seconds, makes you smaller. Even if you're brilliant, even if you have value to offer, you've already positioned yourself as the one who needed this more. Subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because when you understand these dynamics, everything changes. Here's the shift. Delay gratitude. Establish presence first. Let the interaction reveal mutual benefit before expressing deference. When you walk in thanking someone for letting you be there, you reinforce the lie that you didn't belong. These 9 habits don't scream weakness. They whisper it. And those whispers are louder to the powerful than any shout. But what's coming next? The final 4 habits that cut deepest. The 10th habit might be the most dangerous because it feels safe. You seek emotional comfort in every conversation. You scan for friendly faces. You adjust mid-sentence if someone frowns. You're addicted to keeping things smooth. But Machiavelli knew, he who fears conflict will always serve the one who doesn't. Last month, I watched a startup founder pitch investors. Every time an investor looked skeptical, he'd soften his claims. By the end, his revolutionary idea sounded like a suggestion. He chose comfort over conviction. They chose to pass. Real power creates tension without blinking. They say uncomfortable truths. They ask hard questions. They let discomfort hang in the air. Because they're not dependent on everyone feeling good. Comment if you've ever sacrificed truth for comfort. Because the 11th habit is written all over your body. The 11th habit. Avoiding taking up physical space. You sit with legs crossed, shoulders in, hands folded. Your body whispers, "Don't mind me." But every room is an arena. And in every arena, your body speaks first. Try this experiment. Tomorrow, sit like you own the building. Shoulders back. Arms open. Take up space unapologetically. Watch how differently people respond. Not because you demanded attention. Because your body stopped apologizing for existing. The 12th habit is brutal because good people do it most. You over-identify with your good intentions. But I meant well. I didn't mean to sound weak. My heart was in the right place. Power doesn't care what you meant. It only responds to what you signal. Subscribe if you're ready to stop being invisible. Because the 13th habit is the deepest cut of all. The 13th habit. Treating influence like something to be earned. You think you must prove yourself first. Work harder. Wait longer. Be liked more. Then maybe you'll matter. But influence isn't earned. It's assumed. And when assumed with enough conviction, it becomes real. Watch someone with real presence enter a room. They don't wait for attention. They move like it's inevitable. Not arrogant. Just certain. Like the room should adjust to them, not the other way around. Stop waiting for permission to matter. Start moving like someone who knows their value is inevitable. When you treat influence as something you already have, you become impossible to ignore. Here's the truth that changes everything. You weren't born invisible. You were trained. Every suppressed opinion, every swallowed instinct, every time you chose nice over necessary, you carved yourself into someone forgettable. But now you know. All 13 habits. Each one a silent killer of presence. And you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel how small these habits have made you. The only question is, what will you do now? Comment below. Which habit hit you hardest? Because recognizing it is step one. Eliminating it is where your life transforms. From this moment forward, you subtract. Subtract apology. Subtract explanation. Subtract permission seeking. Subtract every signal that says, I'm not sure I belong. What remains isn't arrogance. It's presence. Pure, undeniable presence. The powerful will feel it before they understand it. Because you're no longer asking to be in the room. You're anchoring it, without trying, without performing, without apologizing for the space you take. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about stopping the habits that hide who you already are. Under all that politeness, under all that shrinking, under all that waiting for permission, there's someone powerful, someone unforgettable, someone who doesn't need anyone's approval to exist fully. Subscribe and share this, because someone in your life is disappearing right now. Shrinking in meetings, apologizing for breathing, waiting for permission to be brilliant. They need to hear this. They need to know they're not weak. They're just carrying habits that make them invisible. The next time you enter a room, remember this. Power doesn't notice the loudest. It notices the solid. The ones who don't shift, don't shrink, don't seek. The ones who simply are. Unapologetically, undeniably, unforgettably. You were never meant to be invisible. It's time to be seen.